All right, guys, we got another video, and this one is called When She's Not the One, Run. Let's check this one out.
Shalom, my brothers. I truly pray all is well with you and your families. Today, I want to talk about something I am asked often, but that's really discussed in a mature way. What do you do when you finally realize that the woman you're with doesn't really care about you? I'm not talking about small disagreements. I'm talking about when you finally see that you're only good to her for what you can do and what you can provide. And praise Yah, my brothers, if you can discover this before you marry her.
That is a crucial detail that needs to be figured out before you do anything with a female. And it's pretty easy to spot if you're awake. Okay, it's quite hard to miss these things. Now, some men, for whatever reason, they don't see it, or maybe they do and they just don't want to see it. But let's see what this guy has to say.
But let's be authentic. Many of us stay with this type of woman usually because she's attractive. And since lust clouds the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain the Most High gave us to make wise decisions, we keep making excuses to stay with the pig simply because it has a gold ring in its snout. Proverbs chapter 11 verse 22 states, like a gold ring in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman who shows no discretion. Even King Lemuel in Proverbs chapter 31 verses 10 through 31 describes a virtuous woman not by how she looks but her characteristics. He says she is the one who is hard to find. He closes with the very words that every man needs to etch into his heart. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Most High shall be praised. In other words, don't get trapped by charm or distracted by beauty. They're temporary. But if she has reverence for Yah, humility, and is open to accountability, those qualities, my brothers, are eternal. Those qualities build a marriage. Without them, you're simply building on the sand of emotions.
You want to know how to filter out some of these women really quick, real simple? Say there's a woman you like, you want to take her on a date. All you got to do is go up to her and say, hey, introduce yourself, whatever. Ask her to go out for a cup of coffee. Ask her to go out for a walk in the park. If she refuses, then there you go. There you have it. If she mentions anything about those two dates, if she mentions anything about money, then you already need to keep walking, period, point blank. That's an easy way, really quick way to get them out of there. A woman is going to mess with you regardless of what you have if she's really into you. And that's really the first hurdle you need to get past. Just find out if she is into you, and you got to make sure that she is really, really into you. I would even argue to say into you more than you are into her, or at least on equal ground, guys.
And what I mean by those qualities are eternal is that if you marry a woman who doesn't have those qualities and she leads you off the path of righteousness, you won't make it to eternity with Yah. This is why it's imperative that we do not marry by sight, but marry by faith.
Sight is definitely something that gets us all from time to time. And to be mature enough to see past that is really difficult for a lot of men. And that's what you need to look at. Like you said, it's not about all beauty, okay? Because that is going to fade. How is this woman towards you? Is she a friend? Is she somebody who is going to bend over backwards for you? Is she going to do the little things, you know? And if that answer is yes, then I think you found a good one. And if she's beautiful on top, then you're just extremely lucky at that, you know? So really pay attention to what these women are out here doing. They're going to show you. I promise you. They're going to show you everything they're about. And if you can pay attention and follow the signs, guys, there's no way you can miss it. There's no way. The only way you would miss it is if you chose to miss it. I guarantee there's plenty of men out here right now that saw the signs. They just didn't want to see them. they didn't want to believe that that's what that was. So they kept pushing. And the end result is always the end result.
What I mean by that is juxtapose the woman you're considering to marry by what lines up in scripture in regard to the type of woman we should become one with. I'm actually creating a study about the virtuous woman for my Patreon Brotherhood. So if you'd like to go deeper and learn more about the type of woman you should be pursuing for marriage, click the link in the description below. What does it look like when a woman doesn't really care about you? What I also want you to consider is that you can be with a woman who loves you, but not necessarily like you. A woman who sees the benefit of marrying you, but doesn't really care about you, may have moments of kindness, may show you moments of her being tender towards you. She may even support you in certain ventures. But ask yourself this: does she support you in the way you ask for it, or only in the way she wants to give it? My brothers, that's not support, that's subtle control. And if she can't honor your voice in the small things, she won't honor your leadership in the greater things.
Yeah, that's true. And also, it's very hard to keep up a facade for an extended period of time. Okay. Like he said, if she shows, pockets of emotion or pockets of grandeur throughout the relationship, it's only going to last for a short time, guys. Eventually, the truth will come out. The true person will show their face, and there's no way they can hide that. There's no way that they can escape that. You can only act for so long before you're not an actor anymore, and that's just what it is. Usually, you start small and you work your way up, and the signs are all there. Okay. The signs are there. I was dating 3 women at one time, one including my wife, and I was literally watching everything they did, how they acted towards the things that I said, even personal things that I like to do. A lot of women have problems or issues with a man's hobbies, right? Gaming, for instance, like that's something I like to do in my spare time. A lot of women hate gaming. They hate it. And they tell you that. They let you know. They give you signs, right? And so I look at all of those things. I was looking at all of that. If she didn't respect me enough to respect the things that I love to do, then why are we even still having a conversation? That's how I looked at it. Okay. And so my wife, who is currently my wife and been my wife for a long time now, showed me that I love you for you, everything about you, everything you like or you do. And she's not into that stuff. She's not, but she respects me, and she loves me to the point where I'm not out hurting anybody. I'm out here, in the house, I'm doing my thing. And that's how she looks at it. You know what I mean? If my husband loves these things and this makes him happy and these things aren't doing anything to anybody, then why have an issue with it? And it's vice versa for me as well. Why am I going to have an issue with her for things she likes to do? I'm going to support her in the things she likes to do, and she's going to support me even though she's not interested in those things, those particular things, guys. That's what it's all about.
Also, I want you to observe what happens when there's conflict, when you two don't agree. Does she dismiss your concerns? Does she rebel against accountability, never willing to admit she's wrong? Does she meet you with disrespect instead of honest dialogue? Sometimes, my brothers, the only concern you'll see from a woman like this is when your downfall threatens her stability. She doesn't care that you're struggling. She only cares because if you stay down, it affects her life as well. When you recognize this self-serving behavior, please don't ignore it. Stop turning red flags into a white one. Don't surrender. Don't settle for less than a woman should be in a relationship. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 9 warns us that it's better to live on a corner of the roof than to share a house with a contentious woman. If she has no regard for your heart now, that tension will only multiply when you marry her. And Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1 reminds us that the wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish woman tears hers down.
You know what kills me though? I get a trip out of watching a lot of these men boast about some of these women, and these successful men too, very successful men, and you can tell that the woman is with them for the money, right? And what usually happens in these relationships, okay, after a few years, what usually happens is they become complacent. The women become complacent because that man that they married for their money is not who they truly fell in love with. It's not who they truly loved, right? They were able to get all the physical or all of the material things they wanted. But when they received all those things, guess what? What now, right? I'm not really attracted to this man. I'm not in love with this man, right? I'm looking for validation from other people. My heart is not here. And then they end up having an affair with somebody who's an average, who is a man they're attracted to, but nowhere near as successful as the husband that they're with. And that always happens. It almost never fails, guys. So take heed to that and really understand the person you're with is really with you.
A woman without care or respect for you will eventually sabotage everything because she's too busy trying to save herself instead of building with you. And let me warn you of the opposite extreme, because it's also just as dangerous. You don't want to marry a woman like the one in the classic movie Coming to America. Remember the scene when Eddie Murphy's bride-to-be says, "I like whatever you like." That might stroke your ego, my brothers, but that's not partnership. That's performance. A woman who has no voice, no convictions, no ability to critically think isn't ready for covenant. Marriage requires two people becoming one, not one person pretending just to keep the other happy. Now, let me be clear. I'm not talking to the men who manipulates or misuses women. I'm speaking to the good men, the ones who sincerely want to build a covenant, want to have a legacy, but who are starting to see troubling signs. My brothers, please don't ignore what Yah is showing you. If she doesn't respect you before marriage, she will not honor you when you're married.
Now, I'm gonna limb here and say, he's talking straight facts right now. He's spitting straight facts. And, I noticed he had a wedding ring on as well. So, I tend to look at the guys who are actually married and talking their talk, as opposed to listening to somebody who is single and not married. Now, I'm not saying the people who aren't married don't have anything to give or, have any knowledge. I'm just saying that if you're dealing with somebody like this, you can tell he's an older man here and he is married. So he at least has an idea. He's been married, so he knows how that works. And for somebody to be married, it's not easy. Let me say that as well. Marriage is not easy, guys. It's not supposed to. When you find somebody that you say you love and you want to love for life, guys, it's not as simple as that. Just like anything else in life, there are trials and there are tribulations. Now, what most people tend to do now in today's society is whenever there's a bump in the road, they go ahead and they jump out the car, right? That's just what it is. We got social media. We got all these apps. We got people who think that, okay, I can drop this husband, I can drop this wife, and I already have 2 or 3 people in my DMs I'm talking to. And that's how people play the game now. It's sad, but true. And marriage is not an easy thing. But for somebody who's married and has stayed married, you've probably been through some things. You've had your arguments. You've slept in another room or downstairs on the couch or whatever it is that you've done. And then you've made up and you've come back together. These things happen in marriages. It's happened with me, and it will probably still happen from time to time. But the message I'm trying to convey here is that as long as you know that and you're able to navigate that and not just say, oh, I'm done and I'm throwing in the towel or whatever, then you're good. Especially if you have children and you have things of that nature, guys. It's not worth breaking up your family. It's not. And, I have 2 children with my wife, and it's not worth it.
You wouldn't buy a house with a cracked foundation. Why would you join yourself to someone who has already confirmed that you can't build with her? So what do you do when you recognize the woman you love doesn't really care about you? Well, number 1, pause. Don't rush into marriage hoping she'll change. Time reveals what charm tries to cover. Number 2, pray. Seek Yah's wisdom. asking for clarity and courage to walk away if this is the wrong woman. And lastly, number 3, protect. Guard your heart, but do not hoard it. In other words, my brothers, don't allow the wrong woman to detour you from the path that leads to your wife.
Bro, you straight spitting facts. There was this one chick that I was talking to, and she was one of the 3 when I was talking to my wife at the same time. I was dating my wife. I was dating 2 other chicks, and she was one of them. And, you know, the sex was amazing. All of that shit was crazy, but I knew she wasn't the one because she was trying to change me into something that I was not. Okay, she was trying to, and you could feel it. You know it when you see it, guys. You feel it, and it was a gut feeling, and I just knew. I said, no. As much as I liked this chick, and as much as I liked, doing the do with her and all that type of shit, I had to look past that. And a lot of men can't or don't, or just don't know themselves enough to do so. And I was very proud of myself in that moment because I could have easily took the other fork in the road, and then it would probably have been bad. Okay, we probably would have ended up getting together and breaking up, and things just would have just fell by the wayside. And I think about that from time to time, and I always am proud of myself when I think about that decision that I made, because I saw and I acted. Okay, and yes, did it burn for a little bit? Yeah, it did. But at the same time, I'm better for it, and I have a beautiful, lovely wife, because of it. So let's finish this up.
Marriage is a covenant between man and woman. They become one, not stay as 2. They care for one another, respect one another, and build together. Men, guard your heart, guard your future, and wait for the right one who truly loves and honors Yah. In that, she will honor and love you. As always, I hope this video encouraged you. If you want to be notified when I upload another one, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. But if you're ready to dive deeper, if you want to be trained by me and walk shoulder to shoulder with a community of brothers seeking to become comprehensive men, then join my Patreon brotherhood. That's where the real work begins.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for the video. This guy was spitting straight facts. He strikes me as a married man, an older man who's been through and seen a lot of things. And this is the type of people you may want to, lend your ear to when you're talking about looking for a wife, looking for somebody as a potential wife, and looking for those signs that a lot of men may oversee or may not see, period. Because a lot of us, you can't assume that everybody knows what you know. That's something I had to learn a long time ago as well. Just because you see it or you feel it doesn't mean that next man will. There are some people out there who are just, for whatever reason, incapable of doing it or need some help. And I guess guys like this are going to be guys that are going to help you out. I consider myself a married man. I consider myself knowledgeable in that department and in relationships, because I've had I was blessed enough I was dating when I was young. Okay, I had so much experience as a teenager, as a young teen, in dealing with a bunch of different girls, and then learning myself, making a whole lot of mistakes in the process and learning from those mistakes. And, finally being married one time, never divorced or anything like that. And there were reasons why it took me so long, but just, I feel like everyone deserves somebody. Everyone has a potential to find that right person. But the question really lies in, are they right for you? And with that, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for watching the video. If you do like what you see, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. If you want more, or if you want to recommend me a video, hey, send it to me. I'm more than happy to watch it, check it out for you guys. And with that being said, guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I will see you guys in the next video.